Hi, I'm Dr. Arjun from OBG department. And today we have Dr. Lavanya Kiran. She is a chief consultant in Narayana Health. She is from the department of OBG and she is our reproductive medicine specialist. So today we'll be having a small talk on vaginal rejuvenation and latest technologies available. Madam, what is actually urinary incontinence? Many people are suffering from urinary incontinence. Could you just brief on that?
Yes, definitely. That was a very good question indeed. And nowadays, in my clinical practice, I see a lot of people nowadays reporting with urinary incontinence. What is this urinary incontinence? Is what we need to understand. Urinary incontinence is nothing but when a female reports to your OPD or she suffers through a leaking of the urine. It could be because of any of the causes. Sometimes it's a leaking of urine when she laughs, when she coughs, she dances, she jumps, she does any aggressive movement or even slightest of the movement. Sometimes you can see that women suffer with leaking, and this is one of the problems that women go through on daily basis. But I don't see why they don't report quickly to the OPDs, because they are not very willing to open up themselves and reach out to seek help.
Yeah, this is actually quite embarrassing for women around the state actually. So what are the kinds of urinary, like kind of stress urinary incontinence, urge incontinence?
Yeah, there are several methods, but then I want to get back to you on what you asked of. It is such an embarrassing situation, but then now that we see that we have progressed so well in all fields, I don't see why are women still shy out in reaching out and talking about their problems. Of course, I do agree. Women's always priority remains their family, and I think they do shy out only because they do not want to discuss about their problems. But then I want to assure all the women out there, saying that we are here to help you, and this is where you need to see, irrespective of whatever symptoms you have. So, like he asked, what are the different kinds of urinary incontinence that we have? There are two methods, two types. So one is either a stress urinary incontinence or a urge. Stress is what, like exactly like how I mentioned, when anybody coughs, laughs, this is strenuous thing happening and the urine leaks out, we call it as a stress incontinence. Urge incontinence is only when they cannot hold on their urine until they reach out to the restroom. So this is depending on the mobility. There is alteration in the muscular pattern as well, sometimes because of the childbirth that happens, because of the age, the menopausal symptoms. There's a lot of hormonal variation happening in a woman's body, and she goes through a lot of emotional, physical changes and physiological changes because of the childbirth. So because of all these various things that she goes through in her life, there's a lot of alteration in the pelvic floor muscles happening, and this leads into urinary leaking in different forms.
Okay. So this is as a disease, what's the quantum of the disease that you're facing among the age groups like postmenopausal, perimenopausal women? How many of them are actually being affected in your opinion, ma'am?
I don't want to call any of my females as diseased, because women are doing so much for their family. I always say these are just a physiological changes. So I would prefer to treat all my women and make them more healthier, because it's just a physiological alteration. And here we can see that there are almost 35 to 40% of the female on the general population having this incontinence level. But of course, there are, depending on the age groups, like I mentioned, if somebody's got a traumatic normal delivery, their percentages could be high, ranging anywhere between 7 to 30%. And sometimes post-menopausal or the perimenopausal, because of the hormonal variation that happens in them, you can see that the pelvic floor becomes a little lax. So when it becomes lax, the mobility of the bladder reduces, and then they can end up having all these leaking. For them, it could be a little higher, around 50 to 60% at times. And women, now that the life expectancy even in India has become more, like even 70 to 80%, we say almost 80% is the average lifespan in India. So they also suffer quite a lot, and that could be accounting to almost 70%.
Okay, so that's how huge this problem is actually in the society.
It is.
And ma'am, there are so many treatment options we know, but the new word that is coming up is vaginal rejuvenation. What do you have a say on that?
Coming to the treatment modalities, when women are going through all these problems, we need to see to it, how do we help them? And this is why I said I don't want them to be calling as the deceased, and it's just a physiological variation, because she's gone through the physiological changes through the birthing process, through the hormonal variation that she's happened. And so there's a laxity in the vagina. I think we all know that the urinary bladder and the uterus is quite related to each other. So when during the process of a childbirth or the menopausal, which leading into laxity in the vagina, what happens is the perineum becomes lax. So when the perineum becomes lax, the bladder supports are lost. When the bladder supports are lost, it sacks a little down, and this leads into incontinence because of the muscularity, the changing in the angles of the bladder and the urethra, etc. So what happens? We need to treat them. And there are surgical methods, there are conservative methods. Even looking at us, if somebody offers me surgical methods on the first hand, I would say, no, I don't want to. And mainly, I think this is one of the reasons why our women are shying out to even reach out, because they're worried. Once I see the doctor, they have assumed that doctors are going to treat them only surgical method, and they don't want to even come up with their complaints. But like I said, I'm here to reassure you, we do have a lot of conservative methods, because surgery is not very promising, and any surgery would have its own side effects associated with the surgical procedures. Coming to the conservative, it depends. Sometimes during the process, the uterus could have just come down a little bit, and we call this as the prolapse. This could also lead into urinary leaking. So if this happens, we put in something called as a pessary. Again, it is just a conservative management and just try to help with little symptoms that is persisting. Or we do have some small tapes, they are surgical. Otherwise, the new technology that has come is vaginal regeneration. And like you mentioned to me, you wanted to know more about the vaginal regeneration. Yes. Like I mentioned, vaginal regeneration, it's a laser technology that we are using here at Narayana Health Hospitals, where we insert a probe into the vagina, and this one tightens the vaginal wall. And like I mentioned, the bladder and the vaginal area is related. So when we tighten the vaginal wall, the bladder wall also gets tightened, and this in order reduces the laxity of the vagina, and in turn increasing the bladder mobility as well.
Okay, so this is actually one part of energy-based treatment. What are the different types of energy-based therapies available, ma'am?
There are different types of energy based, like we have the RF, that is the radio frequency, we have the laser, we have the CO2, etc. But then what I like is the laser, and that is what we're using at the moment right now. So what happens here in the laser technology, when we put in the probe, there's a dispersion of the laser beam which goes into the vagina. What happens whenever the beam gets dispensed? So it tightens and acts on the muscle. So in order of the vaginal muscle becoming tightening, there's a neovascularization which happens. What is this neovascularization? It's nothing but there's an increase in the blood supply, there's an increase in the collagen fibers. In order, it tightens the vagina, and once this happens, there's again more support to the bladder, and hence all our symptoms of leaking reduces.
Okay, so basically who gets the treatment? Who are the ones who fit into the conservative therapy and the laser therapy, ma'am?
Simplest sentence I can only say is everybody who has symptoms fits into it. But then I think we'll have to weigh and see, because any treatment that we give, we should not be giving a false assurance to them. So we'll have to tell them what are the pros and cons of each person going through this treatment, how much it would be helping them, because these are all conservative management, and we don't assure you 100%, but we can definitely tell you at least 70 to 80% of you are going to feel better with this treatment. Okay. We've in fact done a study where we have done more than 30 to 40 patients, and we have seen everybody coming back and telling us there is almost a betterment by 80 to 90%. But at least I can assure you outrightly that 70 to 80% of you are going to feel definitely better.
Okay. So what are the other types of treatment, like exercises? Some people say exercises do good. Some say exercise with these kind of therapies do good.
Yes, there are exercises, something called a Kegels exercise, but then it's easier said than done. Here, the women is taught how to hold and contract their perineal muscles in order to make it better tightening to the pelvic floor muscles. Here, she needs to do it, hold on at least 5 seconds, and she needs to keep repeating it over 100 times per day. And I don't think it's practically possible. Yeah. There have been quite a few studies across the globe which says they have done on how many pads a woman will be using. So when they have done a Kegels exercise, there's not been much of a change in the number of pads a woman would be using. But then any of the energy-based things that they have gone through a treatment, they have seen considerable reduction in the number of pads that a woman would be using throughout her day. Like if she was using 10 to 12 in a day, she's come down to 2. And patients have been reporting to us saying that initially they couldn't even reach the toilet to pass urine, but now they can hold on and reach the toilet before they pass urine. We also have come across people that who say their symptoms have got better. They can actually go and dance now. They're not feeling any embarrassment. A lot of people, what happens here, this is a psychological effect. Like I told you, they laugh, they cough, there's leaking of the urine, and this actually prevents them from going and attending to any of the social gatherings. Now they come back proudly and say, I am not shy anymore. I do attend all these social events because they don't have to be wearing a pad and they can sustain for quite some time without any of these things.
Yeah, that's a confidence inspiring
Yes,
statement
yes,
for many of
definitely,
the women out there.
definitely.
Yeah. Ma'am, what are the distinct advantages of this therapy?
One, like we mentioned, definitely your urine leaking symptoms will improve, whether it is a stress incontinence or an urge incontinence. Other thing I want to add on when you mentioned is there any additional benefits is most of the times what happens post delivery or especially the perimenopausal and the menopausal age group, there's a dryness in the vagina which happens because of the hormonal changes. Because of this, a lot of times there's a problem having sexual activity which leads into dryness of the vagina. So hence sometimes they bleed during intercourse, they have a dryness, there's irritation, there's burning sensation. With this treatment, we've also seen an additional help where it helps them lubricate the vagina in order to have a good quality of life with the partner as well. So this is an additional advantage they have along with the symptoms of the urine.
And obviously, no scars, no pain.
Definitely. So I would call this not even a lunch break procedure. I would call it a coffee break procedure. So that means it takes only 10 minutes. While you sip in your coffee, we can finish this because you are under conscious. It just takes 10 minutes where we put in a small probe which goes into your vagina, where we give out the pulses of the laser. And then what happens? You go back in 10 minutes. So there's no discomfort, there's no pain, and you go back to your workplace immediately post-procedure.
So that means we don't have to spend the whole day or a
Definitely
cumbersome
not
process
at all.
of going through the surgery. is
No,
not
no.
there.
That's why I said forget lunch break, come at your coffee break and get
That's
this
good, that's
procedure
good.
done.
And what is the average expenses that a person has to meet while going through these?
These are not expensive procedures. We at Narayana have always targeted at being at the low cost and helping out and reaching out more needy patients. So here, this is a very low cost procedure, hardly any amount that would be considered. Considering your surgical procedures, the side effects, these are conservative management technologies and completely safe on your pocket and low on your pocket, I would say.
Yeah. And what are the side effects as such? If you have to say this instrument or this procedure has these side effects, what would you like to mention?
Nothing really for me to mention that there are side effects, but depending on the perineal area, because of the age, there could be a little dryness and the atrophy of the vagina. So they may end up with a small rash because we use a xylocaine jelly in order to prevent them or make them more comfortable. Small itching, and then we tell them abstain for 2 or 3 days. That we call it as a downtime. So 2 to 3 days, we say no contact. Small burning sensation, which would get better over time of 48 hours, I would say. Totally comfortable, so you don't have to be worried about any side effects.
Okay, so this is a one-time process, or I need to come up like once in a year, twice in a year? How does it go?
Usually we say 3 process or 3 sittings is mandatory. And we add on another process if required. But then what I've seen through my experience is one session and patients are so good they don't come back at all. So here we do it, we charge you per session basis and not as a package. So you are not obliged to be with us for 3 settings you paid, and that is why you need to come to us. So this is why we do session basis. If you do very well and you don't even have to do the second session. But the 100% or complete recovery would be at the end of 2 to 3 sessions. And we can always follow up and see at the end of 6 months if you still need, we can add on another process.
Okay, then see, I've gone through 2-3 sittings and
Yes.
I'm not satisfied. I plan to go ahead with the surgical treatment. So is this going to create some kind of difficulty during the surgery, post-op, intra-op?
No, I don't think so at all. So what happens here, we're increasing the blood vessels and the collagen tissue. and unlikely, or I would say very less percentage of the people, like 10% of the people, would only require a surgery post this procedure. So you don't even have to think that you'll have to be going through a surgery, and I assure you that you will have to just be on this conservative management and you will not need a surgery.
Thank you, ma'am. That was such a confidence-inspiring statement and discussion for a whole lot of women out there. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.